Okay, great. Here we go. 3, 2. Yeah. Finally.
That made up for last week.
Oh, shit.
That made up for last
Hold on.
week.
You know what I think I just screwed up, by the way?
Your mic?
No, it works. All right. Well, that's perfect way to start the...
You guys.
I was panicking. I did, but you can't reverse a beer crack. So I was like,
No.
I probably could have handled that intro a tad better, if I'm being honest.
Honestly, this feels like it's going to be a weird one. I just want to start by saying that. This one,
Well,
based on the pre-show.
Panic. Oh, yeah.
And...
We're off and running. It's an early, we're recording a little earlier, right? Like in the week.
Yeah.
So,
shout out producer Matt, going to Coachella. Thoughts and prayers to producer Matt.
I would not thrive there. I don't think I would thrive.
Have you ever been to like a music festival?
Like half my age ago. Like not recently. Summerfest up in Milwaukee, big fan.
Yeah, no, I've heard of that one.
But
I'm a big
I don't really
country
like
music person.
people.
So you don't like people? Is that what you said?
Yeah, like I shouldn't say that.
That's fair.
I love people. Crowds,
You do love
though,
people.
large crowds, not necessarily my scene.
You hate large crowds. Actually, something I've like learned about you is when like there is like clutter or crowds. I'm thinking back to when we went down to go on the field for the game this year.
I'm
the
like,
national
I'm out.
And you're like, I have to get out of here. I'm going back up. So yeah, large crowds not really a thing. I went to Stagecoach in 2019, pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Thrived. I gotta tell you, I enjoy it. For someone who has like severe anxiety and like loves to be in control and plan everything, I very much thrive in a country music day drinking festival setting.
Oh, I love day drinking. I love a lot of the things you just said there. I just love it on like my backyard with like 4 or 5 of people versus like a bunch of like very sweaty
like 100,000.
Yeah, I don't. But I'm. That being said, I love tailgates. But tailgates normally are like it's like dispersed. It's spread.
Yeah, you got your own little like crowds.
I can convene into a pocket. That's an interesting thing. I never really did a self-assessment of this until right now.
No, yeah. But producer Matt is like, he's the most go with the flow dude. And so I know he's just going to thrive and have a great time. So we're recording early so he can edit early and get there on time and not miss a minute of Coachella, which I will watch via the internet because it's always on the internet.
Do you know any of the acts? Do people even call them acts anymore? Or is that an old thing to say? Like, what do you like?
The acts, like the headliners. Like I know of them all and like I listen to some of the music, but like I'm not someone who would like ever pretend that I know like the small print people on the poster. But I listen to it and I'll watch like the live streams because I get FOMO. But like it's a different vibe for me than country music. I know a lot more about that, and that's more my lane.
I'm very old. It's becoming apparent.
What kind of music do you listen to? I don't think we've ever talked about this.
You know, it's funny. I just had this conversation with a friend. I actually don't really listen to music anymore. Now, there is an exception to this. When I fly, I listen to music. It is the only time now I listen to music. It's really weird. Now, do you want to know my normal flying routine? It is a healthy dose of Mac Miller. Just Mac Miller over and over and over again. And
the
that's
amount of on
it.
brand that is.
Well, and it's all downloaded like to my Spotify. And that's it. I always forget to download stuff. I don't even like listen to podcasts anymore. I don't know what's happened to me. Like, I don't know what I do. I should do more of it, but I don't.
I listen to music 24/7. Like, I have to be listening to music. Like, I do not do silence. Like, anything that when I'm working, there's music on. When I'm like
working
to
out,
sleep, there's music on
would
or
be
something.
the other exception, by the way.
Yeah, and then I'll occasionally listen to like audiobooks on the plane, but I'm not someone who likes to like watch things on airplanes. I don't know why. Like, I don't like downloading a show because I feel like violated. Like, I want to watch it in my own space.
Oh no, I'll watch like Inception for the 40th time.
Yeah. See, I don't like watching things. I'd rather listen to something and kind of like try and relax.
Mac Miller, by the way, is fabulous. The entire Mac Miller catalog, gone way too soon, is like it is the perfect flying. Did I tell you I told the flight story last time. I'm still shook by my turbulence home from Vegas. Like,
I think you're a little traumatized. I think you're a little traumatized.
I had a dream about it the other night, and I'm not normally like the turbulence.
You're not normally like a PTSD guy.
The old guy grabbing my arm has really stayed with me. So I'm
interesting.
And again, I could get on a flight right now and it'd be wonderful. It is 77 degrees right here, by the way. It would be a wonderful day to fly. But yes, Mac Miller was playing in my ears at that point, and that maybe I need to expand. You're shaming me into liking more music again.
Yeah, and also like maybe listen to our podcast every week at least.
See, okay, well, this is another interesting topic. I'm this way with video too. I have a hard time re-listening or re-watching myself because I'm very critical. I know you're critical of yourself too. So like I'll listen and I'll be like, why the fuck am I making that face? Or like, why would I say, why after introing the pod would I panic and click on my microphone immediately? That's bad. So I have a hard time doing it. Like in that
You know this about me, but like I watch literally everything we've done. Like we get off of our live stream on Sunday and I rewatch the live stream afterwards. Like
Is it
I
good?
will listen to what?
Is it good? Do you enjoy it?
Are we good at this? Yeah, we are actually pretty good at this.
Or is it
I think we're
stammering?
Sometimes I think stuff like seems not natural, and then when I like watch it back, I'm like, we're hilarious. So basically this is us just pumping ourselves up.
Yeah.
This is not a hack, that's just how we are.
For better or worse.
For better or worse. We should talk about sports. That's why we're here. The Masters weekend that was like a bunch of start and stops, but we finally got some goodness at the end of it on Easter Sunday. Thoughts initially on Jon Rahm winning the Masters?
So I have two glaring takeaways. A little heartbroken. I had $75 on Brooks Koepka at 40-1 to win. I had some other golfers too, not Jon Rahm. And this is an interesting gambling story. I won't get too deep, but like I normally will bet with I was betting on DraftKings and I was like, I'm trying to hedge. I'm looking for ways to do it. I'm looking for like the cash out options. I was exploring all possibilities here. The weird thing that screwed me up, so Koepka was up 4 and then they restarted and it was like instant 2-stroke swing, like right there. Like boom, bogey, birdie, like first putts. And then I got out of sorts and I just kind of hung on to it and I didn't make any money. I wasn't heartbroken, I guess, too much because by the end it was like Rahm, who I really like, deserved it great. Oh, that was a great opportunity to win some money though. Like, and it was. Brooks, Brooks wasn't disinterested. He looked disgusted. By like the middle of the 4th round, you knew that he knew he didn't have it. And I knew that he knew he didn't have it. And then it was like that first tee shot on 1 in this last round was like, that was my tee shot. Not good. So, heartbroken first and foremost, but happy for Rahm because he's a good dude and he's amazing. And there was no fluke there. That dude just came out and he kind of steamrolled everybody.
Yeah. No, it's tough for me because he went to ASU, so I try not to root for people that go to ASU. But in terms of like, okay, also like a live guy being in it, and then also Phil was crawling back in it, and I was like, oh my gosh, worst case scenario would be Phil. Please, I'll take Jon Rahm. I will take Jon Rahm. Please just give it to Jon. I thought it was great. I think I saw that it was the most watched Sunday round of golf
saw that too.
In like the last 5 years. So that's positive for the sport. I think maybe there was a little to do with the fact that like Brooks Koepka was in it and the live conversation. I know we said it was a nothing burger, but maybe there is some legs to that. And I think people, are rooting against those guys not to win, and then obviously rooting for, PGA Tour guys to win. Before even the weekend, just a dagger to the heart, watching Rory play. He should play Augusta like once a month for a couple of years, and he's
tried everything. He's not played it, and then he played it a lot, and then
it's just
it ain't working.
It's his kryptonite. It's legitimately his kryptonite, and it literally breaks my heart. Ugh, I was so devastated.
It is amazing. I really wish Koepka was still on the tour because, and you still get the major stuff. But somebody made a good point on Twitter that like next year is his last year as it stands right now, with points of like an exemption to Augusta, and that could be it. Which with Koepka, now who knows what this is going to look like in a year and how they're going to treat this, etc. But he's a great character. He is a great character in the show that is golf, because he's built differently, literally, and he's cocky in a good way, and he just has a swagger about him that like a lot of these guys don't have. I like watching him play. I didn't like watching him fold on Sunday, but I like watching him play. And the live thing was an interesting story. Phil has sucked for the better part of 2 years, but there's something about this place. We talked about last week that if you play this course well, Spieth is the same way. Like, and both of these guys have had some really interesting moments at the course. They're out of contention, and then they just go blitz and get like, I think like 18 birdies combined or 16 birdies combined on Sunday. Crazy. That was fun. It was fun to watch both of those guys kind of flirt with being in it.
Yeah. Good way to kick off major season. Looking forward to kind of what's next to come. It was interesting to see, though, too, like the conversation around Brooks and if he like regrets the decision to go to live. But even if he did, one, he couldn't say it, and two, there's no chance he could leave. I heard that like basically their contracts for live, they have to pay like double to triple to quadruple what they were paid to be on tour to leave early. So, and I mean, he said multiple times he knows what he got into, but that's kind of crazy to think, because I think we thought it was just as simple as like, oh, if the PGA lets them back, on tour, then it'll be fine. But it's like, actually, that's not as simple as that. They have to talk about live, be involved in live, and I don't even know if they can play for the PGA Tour if they were to allow them to do that as well. I would think not.
No, and I think, again, who knows what will happen if they'll bridge these two things together or not. Probably not with the current leadership by any means at live. But he did kind of allude to his health, and that if he was healthier, he may have made a different decision. And I found that fascinating, very open. Also,
it's
I've got
weird how. Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, you go first.
I was going to say, it's just strange how like vulnerable he's willing to be publicly. Like, I just never would have pegged Brooks as a guy that was like gonna give us what he gave us on Full Swing in terms of like information and access. And he's always been a guy that we've like put the label of like he doesn't seem to care. It seems like there's a little bit more to him than we thought. I mean, I had a soft spot for him already, but I think I sort of have a soft spot for him in terms of like live guys. Like, he's somebody that I wish maybe didn't make that call.
I've got 3 takeaways that are very random. And I'll start with the most random one, which is the trees falling.
Oh my gosh.
So I was putting, my dad was in town. I'm putting together we're putting in a new screen door, right? We're out of the room, we're drinking beer. And my daughter comes in, she goes, "Dad, why are trees falling?" And I'm like, yeah, like funny. And she's like, "No, like, look." And I turn and there it is. And I'm like, oh my God. There was at least one person that somehow avoided major injury or death somehow miraculously. That was scary as shit. And thank God no one has. That was like surreal. We were all standing around the TV just in complete silence for that. That was like a completely surreal moment.
It's crazy too, because like they put so much time and effort into the grounds there that like that has to like be a thought process of like, okay, we got to make sure the trees are good, but like you don't ever think that it's just gonna come up like that. Like, that was insane. And I'm glad everyone was okay, but that was a wild part of the beginning part of the tournament.
My rant number 2, not a rant. I'll save rant for rant.
Thought.
Last one. My thought: Masters app is world class. It is the best. Did you listen to the AI commentary at all on the Masters app? So if you track a player, I
heard some of it from just Twitter stuff, but I mean, it wasn't terrible.
Fun. No, it wasn't terrible. It's funny, but
it's funny. It's like humorous because it's like it's so like structured.
If you're betting on golf and you want it, like, I favorited all my guys and I could track every shot. It's just a masterclass of presenting sports in the new era. So that would be my second thought. Was that your stomach, by the way?
Yes, I was hoping you didn't hear it.
I heard it the first time too, and I was like, "Let's let
it's
that."
It's been like 10 times. Sorry.
No, it's great.
I eat. I swear.
Yes.
It's a staple on this show.
My last rant is pace of play. I think I've watched a lot of baseball the last couple of weeks, more, and I really like the pitch clock. I can't believe how quickly I'm watching baseball. I think it would behoove golf not to go that extreme, but like Patrick Cantley, it was bad. And everyone was pissed off.
Yeah.
Victor Hovland, like, is just, like, playing his own round. Like, screw this. Like, they have to, I think it would be, like, it was like a 5-hour round, right? I love it. I can watch golf forever. The pace of play was pretty bad and distracting and kind of hindered the presentation. I think golf has to figure out a way to address it in more meaningful techniques and ideas than they have right now, because it's getting a little bad out there. Not for everybody, but certainly for some.
But for some people.
Yes.
No, I agree. On the baseball front, I will say there is a stadium that did move the beer cutoff to the 8th inning because games are going faster. People are getting less time to drink beer. Most ballparks have like a 7th inning situation where you get cut off, and they are going to start moving it back, I think, in a lot of stadiums. So be on the lookout for that. And also just remember that when you go to a baseball game that it's faster, so you need to make sure maybe get there a little early.
Is it shocking that Wisconsin was leading the charge? That's a state that really has really got the whole beer drinking thing down to a science.
Yes.
But the Masters is awesome. Actually, golf is awesome. I'm really, really pumped that it's only early April because we have so much goodness left. Oh, last takeaway, Tiger, hard to watch. And we talked about him sounding mortal. And how much longer do you think he's going to do this shit? Like, I love Tiger, but I think the end is near. And I don't think he's going to wait around for any of this bullshit. I think when it's time, it's time. And it certainly feels like we're getting to that point.
Yeah, I think we might get like one more year. Like I think it's even that close.
And then you'll have Charlie going like near-ish college, and hopefully he'll build golf courses and follow him around, and that will be it. But the visual of him limping around was like cut right to the soul. So Tiger, I don't want Tiger to be done.
Me neither.
But
for what it's worth, I want it to be forever. So
I know. So
just like Nick Saban, I want Nick Saban to coach football forever, and I want Tiger Woods to play golf forever.
Squeezed a Saban reference into this somehow. Well done.
Had to.
We actually have some football stuff to talk about.
Yes.
Kind of. The one of which you are very excited about is
stoked.
Cliff Kingsbury back. He is
in college football.
In college football, a senior offensive analyst for USC. Right? He's basically going to work with the quarterbacks.
Yep.
So, okay. First, immediate thoughts. You are a resident Cliff Kingsbury correspondent. What are your thoughts on this?
I think this is great. I love that he's back from Thailand. I don't care that he's going to be coaching against my team on a regular basis, at least for next year. I love that he's just going to be an analyst, so it's really not that big of a lift. He'll be in LA and get to do LA things. He'll get to hang out with his best friend, Sean McVay, and hang out with their supermodel girlfriends / wife. And yeah, I'm happy for him. I'm glad that he decided to make a comeback to football and decided to take some of those phone calls that were coming his way initially when he was let go at Arizona.
So I think this move is, I love that all these like super offensive geniuses probably just have like a group chat going. That's how I envision it. And like, hey,
yes, me too.
You want to come live in California? I know you're getting paid a huge buyout, and like you could work with the number one pick in the draft for a year, and we'll get you back on your feet. You'll be the offensive coordinator at some point, and like, you could just hang. And so somebody on Twitter though said something, and I forget who it was last night. They said, what has Cliff Kingsbury done to warrant opportunities? And I don't mean to shit on Cliff Kingsbury.
No, excellent question.
I actually thought about this. My answer to them was Patrick Mahomes ? Now, you could argue like Patrick Mahomes is a enormous resume boost, but they were very shitty with Patrick Mahomes, like or not very good. So how do we?
Yeah.
What do we think of the Cliff Kingsbury catalog, the football catalog right now?
I think you can put Johnny Manziel in there too.
Fair.
On a college football scale, that's in football. I mean, again, like not everyone is. I mean, I guess it's fair to say that he hasn't really done much. Pro level, yikes, we'll forget about it. But look at another Nick Saban reference just right here.
Oh.
Some people are not meant for the pros, And I think
but some
Cliff
people
Kingsbury
are
is meant in college football.
Either. I think that I think he's a great OC. He's like a $2 million OC. Like, but I just am really curious what the trajectory. I don't know, how old is he? Early 40s? He can't be much older than me.
41, I think.
Okay, so he's made a lot of money and done a lot of things. He's 41. He could theoretically coach for 30 more years if he wanted to. Then he would be on the Nick Saban path, right? That's where he is in his coaching, his coaching career. I am very curious. You think he'll get another head coaching job in college?
Yeah, and I think it'll be a big one too.
The allure is still so high.
It is. Like, this sounds bad, but like we've seen it happen time and time again. Like, I mean, we joked that he would end up at like Alabama, and like he's going to kind of arguably the next best thing, and not necessarily the next best thing, but
for him now, like there's no better fit. Like,
like this made sense. Although to be fair, he was the offensive coordinator at USC before, so he's returning to USC.
I think it is like if you're
for 24 hours, however long that was.
Well, I think it is actually, for USC, I think this is a nice little thing to say from a recruiting standpoint, or however you want to, weaponize this. Like, hey, and by the way, we have this guy. He worked with Kyler Murray. He worked with Patrick Mahomes. While we can kind of like, we could pick that apart, the message, if we want to. There is some incredible experience and hands-on with like some very, like some players that are being idolized right now by high school kids, without question. I mean, that's powerful.
I mean, that whoever asked like what he's done in the college football realm, definitely a valid question. I think we could ask that about a lot more people that get jobs in college football. Like, there's certain people that really have hung around the sport that have not really proven anything for loads of time. But it is interesting to actually think about it. Like, look, there's, like you said, there's a draw though for him in terms of, and that's sort of what the sport is going towards a little bit more. Like, if you have a head coach that can manage things, you want the flashy pieces around you to be able to recruit. And that's sort of what this is, I think, in my opinion.
Won 7 games with Patrick Mahomes is a highlight. I think he won 7 games.
To be fair, that team
all right, you know
was
what? We're
not
doing this. Wow, I get it. I'm going to go.
Patrick was so good in college. I watched games just to watch him throw the football.
All right, so he's 43.
I think that's why I have a soft spot, is because if you watch that offense, it was actually really fun to watch because they just like chucked it. I mean, and they let Patrick do whatever he wanted. It was amazing.
Okay. All right, so we have opened up the Cliff Kingsbury Wikipedia because that seems like the right thing to do. First and foremost, college statistics. He threw for 95 touchdowns and 40 interceptions. Not bad.
Wow, so that person didn't even consider his playing days. Rude.
So at Texas Tech, he was 35-40, 19-35 in conference. He did win 7 games with Patrick. He won 8 games one time. 8-5, 4-8, 7-6, 5-7, 6-7, and 5-7, and then got named a head coach of the Cardinals. That is such a fucked up career path, but whatever. Cardinals.
It's hilarious. Like, he wasn't even supposed to get that job in the first place.
5-10-1. I'm sorry. Well, real quick. 5-10-1, 8-8, 11-6. They started off like 9-0 that year, I think, and then 4-13, and then fired. So there it is. So you're right. He was not supposed to get that job, but he did. And now he's...
I wish he would have stayed as the offensive coordinator. At USC?
All right. I guess if you're him, I don't know what his buyout was. It was probably a lot. I'm sure it's on here somewhere. Come on, Wikipedia, don't let me down. But like, wouldn't you, I don't know, want to go spend some time in Thailand, more time with your supermodel girlfriend?
No. Cliff doesn't strike me as the type that wants to spend lots of time doing anything other than talking about football and coaching football.
I have some comments that I'm going to keep to myself.
He's a football guy.
Yeah, he likes football. All right.
He likes football. Look, he's probably been in Thailand. When did he get fired? He's been in Thailand for a while. He bought a one-way ticket and wasn't answering phone calls, so he took some time off.
The Graham,
but like, also I understand.
Says otherwise. Okay, the Graham says Cliff is. I mean, the fucking picture of him watching the draft like it's a GQ ad. Like, I think Cliff, and God bless him for it, man. Cliff I think he knows how to have a maximum good time. He is maximizing having a great life as a football coach.
Yep.
But Nick Saban is a football guy. Nick Saban is a football guy and probably has been his whole life.
Just because, okay, but to be fair, this is the new generation of football guy. Okay, not everyone is built like Nick Saban. The new generation,
damn sure.
The Lincoln Rileys, the Deion Sanders, they pay attention to other things. They're football guys.
I
think
Lincoln Riley is a football guy. I think he's a big dork with an awesome wine cellar. And I mean that
he also took a job in LA and has a massive house and wears Jordans and dresses nice, okay?
But I think
you think that he's not worried about what he's wearing and the things he's tweeting and being popular amongst the youngins? No.
I think that he is the move to LA was not natural for Lincoln Riley. If Cliff goes to LA,
I think it was.
Oh, I think he's a great football coach, so he could wear it. But I don't think it was. I think he wears it well now, but I think some of that life, it's probably got to be acquired. Cliff as the coach of USC, no, man. I think it's different. I do agree with you that the new age football guy
is different.
But Ryan Day is a new age. We're going to talk about in a second. Ryan Day is a new age football guy. That man just loves football and dyeing his beard. That's it.
He dyes his beard.
Oh, he has to. That thing is the color of a stuffed animal. That can't be real. That has got to be.
I don't think that he does, but now I'm questioning everything I've ever known. Do you think he dyes his beard?
It is it's like a black hole of a beard. It has to be. If that's natural, God bless him. I mean,
if anything wasn't natural, I was going to say it's his rosy cheeks and that he uses Rare Beauty blush, which I tweeted during the season, by the way.
That's hilarious.
But wow, I've never thought of that. Now I'm going to be on the lookout for any signs that he dyes his beard.
I do have a Ryan Day thing I wanted to talk about. There's a story on ESPN.
Perfect segue.
Heather, there you go. Heather Dinich did it, and I find this interesting because Gene Smith, who has been around and every 6 months I think says something meaningful, did a pretty interesting interview with ESPN, and he said that Ryan Day, he's my CEO. I want to revisit that in a second. Here's another quote. My standards are high. Our team standards are high. This is Smith. So we talk about how do we get better and how to make sure we are able to win the championship we aspire to win. We look at each individual contest that got in that way. We're trying to figure out what's the strategy to mitigate that. When we lose, it's highly disappointing. But I break things down and look at things objectively, and we have good conversations about what we need to do better. Now, this is wild. It's a good story on a variety of fronts. Ohio State, you and I have talked about this. They never lose. But when they lose, it is the end of it's almost Alabama losing, but they haven't won at the Alabama level. Ohio State is expected to win every single game. And when they've lost the last couple of years, they've lost spectacularly. Michigan and then Georgia, right? And some other things in between. Now, that's part of it. The other part of it is he's my CEO. I think that this is where football is heading. I actually love that quote because when you see Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame, when he got introduced, he was like, I'm going to recruit. And yeah, I coach defense, but I'm going to figure it out. I think as we enter this new era, I think him removing himself from play calling duties, which he's going to do this year, right? I think that the CEO label is going to become more and more prominent. And really, it's what Arizona State tried to do with Herm very clumsily. It did not work. I think if you do it right and if you have the right infrastructure at a place like Ohio State, where you can just spend $2 million on assistant coaches easily, you can do it well. I'm curious, though, what you think, because he's a great play caller, right? And if it doesn't go well, it could end very poorly.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this a lot where there is a fine line. I think you still have to be involved in some capacity, but I think when things are going right, that's the easiest fix and the most tangible, especially for boosters and guys that are in these situations where something has to change immediately or you do lose your job. But I don't know, it is kind of risky to give that much power and delegate that much to someone else. with your job essentially online. Yes, it's theirs too, but it's more so you publicly. But I think you're right. I think especially as there's like more responsibility and there's more to manage now that there's NIL, transfer portal, which by the way in college basketball is insanity right now. But yeah, I see it moving towards that. But I also think there's still, again, we're gonna use football, guys. Drink if you're drinking during this podcast. Drink every time we say football, guys. You'll be drunk by the end of it. I think football guys are not gonna want to give up that stuff. Kind of like Jimbo. I mean, we've talked about that ad nauseum, but I mean,
I think it's just
give up the sticks.
I don't know. I think like Lincoln Riley will probably hang on to play calling duties and do his thing because that's what he does. Until it doesn't work. I think
it depends on the coach. Like genuinely, that's what it comes down to. It's like it depends on the coach.
But it's just fascinating. The other part of this story that I find hilarious, and it's just one little quote at the end of the first paragraph. It's that we talked about everything from personnel to play calling, and quote what they need to do better. So like Ohio State, who has been like the outside of a handful of programs, is the team that everybody would love to be. There's still there is so much fucking pressure at this job to win. It's really strange. It has probably more pressure. Ryan Day has more pressure on him right now than any coach, I think, in college football.
Yep.
Right? Like, because if it goes south at any point, you have a new quarterback, you've got a new offensive line, you're replacing, you've still got a great wide receiver, you've got some great players. But if they lose 2 games, the hot seat talk has already started. What's it going to be if they lose 2 games? Like, holy shit. I just find the whole situation there somewhat toxic and absolutely fascinating. And I mean toxic not in a bad way. I just think culturally there's such
toxic,
an expectation.
Not in a bad way.
No, well, not in that way. Toxic in football, like Bobby Petrino, right? I don't want to associate that. That's not how I mean toxic. I think the connection between fan and program is toxic right now. I do. So
we could do most toxic fan bases as a fun little.
I think they're number one. Really? I think they're broken too right now because they just got absolutely fucking worked by Michigan twice and then lost horribly to Georgia. Horribly. I can't believe they lost that game. I lost so much fucking money on that game too, betting on live. God damn it.
I wanted them to win that game.
Broke-ass championship game. God. Both those 2 teams, Michigan and Ohio State, really screwed things up. Fucking that championship game. Somebody, this is just a quick tangent. I hadn't seen somebody in a while, and I hadn't talked to them in a while, and they're like, how about that championship game? They got that today. And I'm like, I don't really want to talk about it again. Like, I have erased that from my mind, how bad that was.
We are months removed from that traumatizing experience.
There's the Ohio State conversation for this podcast. Now,
yes.
More importantly, moving on to better conferences, yours, Pac-12, CW, collision course. Your thoughts?
Okay, so I think it was like a Friday or a Thursday. I don't even know what day of the week it was. I see this tweet come across that The Athletic is reporting that the Pac-12 is looking to sell a small package of games to the CW. And I've been a very big advocate of keeping the Pac-12 together. I've been a big advocate of, okay, we can divide this up and get some good money out of this TV deal. I don't want to join the Big 12. I saw that and I legitimately was like, forget it. We'll go to the Big 12. I don't care. Like, this is so embarrassing. It's so horrible. Like, talk about toxic. Like, this is so embarrassing. Like, we are not only losing 2 of the premier programs that were in our conference, but now we're going to be the laughing stock of all of college sports because we're going to the CW. Like, look, don't get me wrong. I love One Tree Hill. Shout out the CW for One Tree Hill and keeping that going. But, like, are you joking? This is it. I legitimately had to check to make sure it was real. Like, this is Live Golf status embarrassing in terms of TV deal. The quality is better than what we're getting out of Live Golf. I can't believe that it's that embarrassing that we are going, and it's in there. I think it was a small selection of football games, but even more embarrassing for like a basketball program like Arizona, like that. This is disgusting. And I take back everything I said about the Big 12. We can join the Big 12 and split it up evenly. Kansas and Arizona should get more basketball money, and I rest my case. Like, that's it. I was so mad. And also, sorry, we're just getting really worked up over here. The last part of this is that college football Twitter was in mid-season form after I tweeted this. This went crazy. People responding, people arguing in my comments about whether the Big 12 or the Pac-12 was a more superior conference. Talk about like a battle of the losers. Like, are you kidding me? Like, stop arguing which one of us is a better conference. It's about even, really. I understand in terms of Big 12 making playoff games and things like that much more exciting in football, but still, it's about even in terms of like, okay, you also have 2 premier programs leaving your conference as well. You're adding group of 5 teams. Nothing wrong with that. Glad there's people moving into the Big 12. But the arguments in the comments were like mid-peak CFB Twitter of just arguing which conference is better. And like also the best is people talking about TV deals like they know what's actually happening. And it was chef's kiss of just pure off-season chaos that was caused by me just being like, I lied. We can join the Big 12 conference. I'm sorry for what I said. And it just blew up.
Anytime you're in the CW conversation, it's not good. Now,
wait. You go into rant. I'm going to pull up the tweets so I can read some of the responses to this because they were really good. I want to give credit where credit's due.
I'm going to turn this into a positive. If I'm the Pac-12, I go back to ESPN. I see the Pac-12 to me is still very valuable programming because I do think there's a large collection of sickos who want Pac-12 after dark.
Yes.
Like, it's great programming. Late night, Friday night, Saturday night, whatever they need to do. I still think, you lose your 2 flagships. I still want to see Oregon and Utah play football. Like, there's still good games.
Yeah.
So I think if I'm the Pac-12, I re-engage ESPN or whomever, and I say, okay, the price tag has come down. But for them to be relevant, I know it matters, like what they're going to get paid. That's huge. But if they go somewhere like a streaming only or whatever it's going to be, it's not going to go well. It's not.
But what? Yeah, because at what cost? Like, if you're on the CW, no one's going to want to come play in the Pac-12. Like, that will genuinely have an impact on that.
It's the death.
It is, yes, it's the kiss of death to be like that. Okay, let me read some of the tweets. This is in quotes. From the people that brought you Riverdale and Nancy Drew comes Pac-12 Network. Following Dawson's Creek reruns, you can watch Arizona versus Arizona State. These are, I mean, amazing. Can't wait for the Facebook Reels or TikTok contract to get approved. Nothing like watching a Pac-12 game in 90-second blocks.
Oh my God. It's bad. But if you go to the CW, you die. Like, you do. Like,
the conference's broadcasting blunders are going to die on One Tree Hill. Like, seriously,
Can you imagine,
college football Twitter.
I envision you watching Arizona Cal at like 10:15 Eastern time at night on the CW app and just being completely sad about it.
So mad.
Yes. Sorry, Arizona. Sorry, Cal. It's just it's the first 2 teams I came
It's
up.
Okay. It's okay. We're okay. I mean, nothing is more embarrassing than this. Like, the like memes where people like draw the clown face on them. Like, that's how I feel about our conference right now. It's embarrassing. We need to figure it out. Like, figure it out, or Arizona leave and go somewhere else.
Another college football. It's heavy for what it's been. College football news. We are getting a new UGA.
Yes.
Like
a 10-month-old bulldog.
God bless UGA. I know we could feel different. We can disassociate ourselves with George's run and just this lovely mascot and his bag of ice, right? Like, God bless him.
Yeah, the new UGA will be Boom, a 10-month-old English bulldog. He will be anointed this Saturday.
His name is Boom?
Yeah.
Isn't that Will Muschamp's nickname? Is it after Will Muschamp?
I don't know.
Am I just making that up, by the way?
Ryan Day dyes his beard. Will Muschamp is Boom.
Boom.
We're starting college football rumors. At this point, none of the college football. Maybe we started the CW rumor to have something to talk about on this podcast. Don't worry, Pac-12 fans. We made it up. It seems like a joke. Also,
okay, no, his nickname is Coach Boom. I think it's because he's a fucking lunatic, but his nickname is Coach Boom.
Also, a bit of news over the weekend. I don't know if you saw, but Christian McCaffrey got engaged to Olivia Culpo.
I did see it. Not that old.
And the fact that I use it as an opportunity to remind people that he didn't win the Heisman because people didn't stay up late to watch him play for Stanford. So there's that.
I saw that. I appreciate that you own that sector of Twitter.
Still. I really do. People know the brand.
No, it's good. I mean, it's
like Christian McCaffrey's been over it for years, and I just like still cannot get over it. It's fine. It is what it is.
I appreciate that. I do want a little sliver of NFL draft, and I actually want to talk generally about your excitement for the draft. But first and foremost, the odds have actually been wild this year for draft. So specifically, who's going to go number 1 overall? Bryce Young was like minus 150. Carolina traded up. There was rumors about it, like they really like C.J. Stroud, so the odds shifted back to Stroud. Now Bryce Young is minus 320 to go first overall. So it's like heavy Young, and then Stroud second at plus 220. To me, it's starting to feel like a foregone conclusion that Bryce Young is going to be first overall. Do you get those vibes at all? And I hope that's the right thing to do, by the way. That is the right thing to do, so I'm not surprised we're landing here.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like we're getting back to it, like it evened itself out. We talk about this a lot with sports, but like there needed to be some conversation, and so they were like, hey, let's pick a Florida quarterback to talk about for a couple of weeks and then go back to what we know is tried and true and don't overthink it, because we've talked about how, you know, some of this draft season stuff can be overthought a little bit. And the other side of this is I'm a 49ers fan, so the draft to me, like, even day one doesn't really... I'm like, all right, cool. But, yeah, I feel like it's a little... I don't know. I don't feel like that many people are talking about the draft. It feels very strange.
That's what I'm getting at, too. And I'm normally really excited.
Me too.
And I will be excited. I love the draft. It does feel like there's some odd... I don't know. There's like a disconnect I have. There is weird vibes with the draft. That's exactly what I'm feeling. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't alone. I will be very excited. I normally drink heavily on draft night. I will bet heavily on draft night. But I'm not feeling it. And what are we, like 2 weeks away, right? Like,
yeah. Is
it 2 weeks? 2-ish weeks, I guess, depending on when people are listening. I don't know. It's just not there right now. But I hope I will get there. I am fascinated by the quarterbacks as a whole. Anthony Richardson and Will Levis. Like, I think the draft is going to be extremely weird.
And then that would be, you also are still waiting for a quarterback to be drafted or to be traded to your team.
Yes. And maybe drafted, but mostly traded. I feel like it's going to happen. It's a little strange that it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, it was weird that it's taking so long.
I just am ready for that too. And if that doesn't happen, oh my God, it would be the most Jets shit ever. By the way, it would just be maximum Jets.
Yeah.
I will find my draft. We'll do it. I'm sure we'll inject some draft stuff over the next couple of weeks.
Do you know what this means though? It means that the night of the draft, it's actually going to be pretty hectic.
I hope so. I mean, there should be a lot of trades.
Yeah, I feel like there might be a lot of chaos on the actual day itself because there's not a ton of lead up.
I love Chris Sims. I do. I like Chris Sims a lot. He has Will Anderson ranked as like his 5th ranked edge rusher in this class. I got to make sure I saw that right. I watched it last night and I was genuinely pissed off. I like Chris. Chris is awesome. And actually, he's had some huge hits on Mahomes.
Yeah.
Really like Zach Wilson, not so much there, but he's had some hits. Like, Chris is like respected, but I gotta find the tweet. It like enraged me. Like, I will jump in front of whatever you throw at Will Anderson to protect him from it. Like, do not fuck with Will Anderson. And the 5th rank, I mean, come on. This is the part of the draft that pisses me off, Paige. We do all this shit, and then we like Will Anderson's gonna drop to number like 8 or 9 for some stupid reason and wind up being awesome. So, don't do that. Don't let that happen. Love you, Chris, but what the fuck? Bad.
Don't do that.
Bad take.
Don't do that.
Okay, so what else? Any random?
No.
I've got some Easter kid content. I saw somebody on Twitter, like, we did an Easter egg hunt in our backyard, And somebody on Twitter was saying basically like dads like to say kids like, hey, there, I see 3 eggs right here. I can't tell you how many times I said that on Sunday. We did a massive. I was so tired on Sunday night from Easter. It's become Christmas light. I have 3 kids, 8 and under, and it has become like Christmas Junior. Not in terms of overall gifts, but in terms of like general excitement. It is exhausting. Easter was so tiring.
I love Easter. Like, it's probably one of my like top 5 holidays because I love a good brunch. I love a reason to get dressed up. I love a good day drinking situation. I love having my family all together. Big Irish Catholic family all together. It is one of my favorite days, and we did it right this year. The Easter egg hunt was epic. My mom always does like an adult one, and hides
Good for you.
all of like the bigger eggs, and then does like a golden egg. But yeah, it's definitely like a big holiday in my household. But the chaos of Easter egg hunts and the excitement behind like getting eggs for little kids is like wild.
I also could do without UFC having an awesome pay-per-view parlayed into early Easter morning. Kind of hungover. In fact, let's remove kind of, right?
Severely. And being hungover on Easter is not fun.
No. And awesome UFC card. Awesome main event. That was great. Less awesome at 6:25 in the morning.
In the morning, dang. You were up earlier than I was. I got up to watch soccer. My team tied, and it felt like a loss, honestly.
Yeah, it was early, but I do love it, and the kids are all in. And the other thing, the weather this week, 2 things about the weather. The weather here is, it's 70s, 75 all week. The lawn today, so the lawn content on this podcast is about to get fucking significant. So spring cleanup day, aeration, power raking, dethatching, all going on right now.
Dethatching?
Yes, so that's like, the dead grass you have from the winter. So it just digs up all the dead grass. It goes. Critical, by the way, critical to green lawn management.
So,
yes.
Yeah, it's a little different here because for us, winter just meant a lot of rain. So everything is green here now. Like everything is green, and it's also warm again, which is nice.
We had a very light, mild winter, and we had a lot of rain. So everything is greener than it should be. But now I wanted to get this spring cleanup done. Milorganite is going down this week, pre-rain.
You could be making up words and I wouldn't know.
We are thriving. The lawn, this has a chance to be the year.
Wow. Do they give awards in your like county for like
no, like
the most beautiful yard?
Jason has a beautiful yard too, and we are like cross. So there is some I wouldn't call it competition. I think we feed off of each other and it's a great area of lawn. Like if you're walking your dog and you look left and you're right, you're like, fuck, wow, yes. So
I have a hot topic that might be controversial, but it's because I'm a dog person and I have a dog. People who put those signs on their lawn that say like no dumping and it's like a dog just make me so mad. Like I'm a good responsible dog owner. I will pick up poop on the walk, but like putting up those signs, like first of all, dog can't read. So it has to go. Second, like don't be a dick. Like that just bothers me so much when people have those signs. I don't like that.
I don't mind dogs dumping, but I'm on like a turn, so I'll get a little old manish here. Like dogs, all good, and people pick up their shit largely. So thank you, people, for not being total douchebags. But I'm on the turn, and kids ride their bike through my lawn because I'm on a turn, and it's not a huge slab, and that fucking pisses me off. Like if I could, I would hunt them down and say, not anything physical, but like it's getting bad. And podcast, I'd be like, hey man, could you please not do that? I would hunt them down and have a very polite conversation.
I just like imagine you like hunting them down and like swiping some sweat from your brow, being like,
hey man,
excuse
cigar?
me, young man.
Buddy, what the fuck? Like that would be
buddy,
me.
if you could not. Also, this is very random and very behind the curtain, but in an email thread this week at work, we were discussing like best flavor of donuts, which is very serious business. And I mentioned that I love to dip donuts in coffee. Like that is like, I love it. And I always joke that I should have been a cop. And someone was like, I could see that with Kramer, but like with you, it just doesn't fit. And then I was like
it's an old
and then
person
someone
thing?
said they basically spitballed into the idea of us doing a buddy cop show, which I think would be great. I think we can sell that to the CW probably.
The CW, yeah, right, right after Pac-12.
Right after Pac-12 football, 2 podcast hosts fight crime and do copy.
Here's the thing about the donut and coffee. I haven't really done it, so I'm not going to I love coffee. So
do you like donuts?
I love fuck yeah. It's America, goddammit. But coffee I really love. But I just feel like those things by themselves are great. There's no need to cross the streams. No, I'm going to give this, you know what we should do? I will do a instant review on the pod of dipping.
A live taste test?
A live taste test. That would actually be
It has to be like a good, like, do you like a chocolate old fashioned?
You know, here's the thing though. When you mentioned your favorite type of donut, I don't have a good answer for that right now. Like
chocolate old fashioned is my favorite. I like a maple bar because that one's good for dunking purposes.
Maple's pretty good.
I do like a jelly filled donut too.
No.
What?
Just a straight up no. Like
no again, raspberry filled glazed donut?
No.
Are you out of your mind?
No, I just don't think. Again, if I want jelly, I'm going to eat a sandwich, a peanut butter. I don't even like jelly though. Like period.
You don't like jelly? Do you eat PB&J? You don't eat Uncrustables? That's a lie. You're a dad.
Well, all right. So that is the one. So when I was a kid, okay, I got a story. My mom packed me the wrong lunch, okay, and I didn't like jelly, and it was in preschool. Okay, this is in New Jersey. Go back many years, and I remember my teacher made me try it, and I threw up all over the table with all of the fucking kids, and I'm still 35 years later broken from that moment. Like, what a bitch, by the way. Sorry, but what a bitch. Just eat it? Like, you can't do that shit now. You'll get canceled. Like, telling a kid to eat his fucking sandwich? Like, haunt it.
You can't have peanut butter in schools these days.
You know what, though? She fucked up. I ate the sandwich, and then I ruined lunch for everyone. Like,
Barb, that's so... I'm sorry that I'm laughing at your childhood trauma. That is... I should have been more better there, but I couldn't.
We got there for jelly donuts, I don't know, but...
And jelly? I didn't know that you didn't like jelly. Now that I know, like, that's a good knowledge for me.
Your Uncrustable point is a valid one, because Uncrustables I can do. Like, there's somehow they are free of this hate. My kid,
maybe
the squeeze
what flavor of jelly was it?
It was grape. It was grape jelly.
Okay, I don't really love grape jelly. Red raspberry is the best jelly.
They have, like, again, I don't eat jelly. Made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches the week. They have just the squeeze bottle now. It's a little, I don't know. It seems like a little much. Like, nothing wrong with a knife. And
seems
also,
like a little lazy on the kid's part.
My last rant in a series of rants. If you're going to use the knife with peanut butter, don't go back and forth between the peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, do not get it in either. I hate that.
You need separate knives. Like, don't.
Yeah,
don't
it's okay. No, I absolutely agree. I also
I don't know how we got there. Wow.
That really just spiraled, which is classic us, but a good way to end the podcast. I was going to start another argument by saying what's the best condiment, but we will save that for next week's random shit.
I can tell you right now this is going to be a struggle, and I think you're going to be mad at me.
I'm going to give you some time. If you say ketchup, just don't show up to the podcast next week. If you say ketchup,
I got some work. To do.
Oh, gosh. What's wrong with you?
I don't know, man. I'm sorry. This is like my childhood nightmares all coming out all at once. I can't believe I told that story. I don't know if I've ever told that story publicly.
I mean, look, this is a safe space.
Daycare.
That's messed up.
I wonder if
she listens to this. I hope she listens to this podcast.
She's probably 80 years old. Jesus, that's horrifying too. But, like, do you think the other kids are fucked up from that? Like, Yeah, man. The kid took a bite of his sandwich and just fucking threw up all over the place.
I mean, did any other kids throw up? Because sometimes when kids see other kids throw up, they barf.
No, in my mind, right, you have these memories of these weird things, and I remember the projectile, and then it goes black. Thank God I don't see faces of kids who are like mortified. So, yeah, I'm glad we opened it up. This is like therapy to me. Next week, we'll live another childhood trauma.
Yep. No, next week's episode.
Goddamn.
Age
falling
5.
Off a swing.
What traumatized you at age 5?
Yeah. Now
we started it.
Why I have no friends now. All right. So next week we will talk draft and whatever the hell else happens. Spring games. I do want to see.
Yes.
Colorado has a spring game coming up, which is somewhat interesting.
I don't think anyone's going to be able to watch it or has heard that they have a spring game.
Aren't they the only one that's televised?
Yeah, I was joking. That was sarcasm.
Oh man, that's not a good way to end.
It's not a good look.
Just fucking me. Softball. All right. For Paige, I'm Adam. We'll see you guys.